Hiya folks, it's Kikoskia here, and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. And we left off, Lyrin and Biscuit made it to Gilded Vale, and I bet they wish they'd skipped the place and gone somewhere else, because Gilded Vale is far from a bustling, up-and-coming settlement that has promises of land and wealth for those that arrive. It's miserable, it's dreary, it's run down, it's bereft of hope. And there's the tree. I'm not going to say anything about the tree. The tree speaks for itself. I am, however, going to comment about the person who is standing by the tree, Edér. They seem important, though they weren't interested in talking to us too much when we passed them. Another important person, though, is Aloth, our first companion outside of the tutorial. An Edéran wizard who got into a bit of a scuffle with some people that we were able to calm down by casually mentioning that Aloth was reaching for something. If he was or not, we'll never know. But he has power aplenty to deal with people if he chose to. Probably not 3 at once, though.
Yes?
With Aloth in our party, it's time to go into the inn, make our introductions, and get a room. We don't know what the future holds for us here, but I imagine we're tired after being on the road for so long. A nice bed would be greatly appreciated. So in we go. Okay, who is here? We have villager, villager. We have villager, villager, and villager. All on server. We have more villagers. Now, there's Tenfrith. We'll have to say hi to him at some point. For now, we'll go over here and make our introductions to Pasca.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to... The innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you! Tenfrith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. He was true to his word. Consider yourself a favourite of the house. Discount on drinks, rooms. Tenfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So what would you like? I'd like to know more about the Black Hound to start with. Really? Well, let me see. The Agile building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here too. Fewer than we used to, I'll admit. Party gained 1,192 experience. That's a lot of XP. Tenfrith's the big draw. I'm sure we'll get the big crowds back again in no time. Considering how Gilded Vale is going, I somehow doubt it. I used to work the tables actually until the new owner up and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him. He even left his poor hound behind. That's the name, see? A black hound? It's still sitting upstairs pining after him. Poor old girl. Place ended up in my hands somehow. My very own inn. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Please sit where you like. Would you like a drink? Or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by way of a good meal today. Unless you're fond of cold porridge. I could use some reliable help, actually. Do you know anyone looking for work? Oh! I wouldn't say I speak from experience, but we do have certain sorts coming by looking for work from time to time. If you want to hire someone, I'd be happy to send them your way. That is the game offering to make custom party members for you. Those are people that you can take instead of the voiced characters already in the game, that you can tailor to your liking. If you want to play the game with only people that you've made, this is how you do it. But we don't. We want to play with the party members that the game offers. Maybe later. As you'd like. Anything else I can do for you? What do you have for sale? I'm sure you'll find something to your liking. We have the finest cook in the Deerwood. So, darkest Ruatai cookies. Oh, those sound delicious. Rivaled only by Edérans in their love of sweet things, the Ruatai count many delicious desserts and treats among their famed recipes. One of the most revered by wealthy connoisseurs around the known world is the darkest Ruatai chocolate cookie. It has become a courtesy gift among Ruatai ambassadors, with many foreign dignitaries warmly receiving any Ruatai delegation simply in the hopes of receiving a batch of the revered treats. Oh, those look good. You have a rice pan. Popular as a dinner entree in the Ixomitl Plains, the Ixomitl rice pan has hundreds of regional and family variations. Varied as it may be, the dish is often seen as a great unifier in a culture heavily stratified by social hierarchy. Philosophers and wealthy politicians may use rare spices or finer cheeses, but its basic ingredients and ease of cooking have made it a traditional meal for all Ixomitl people. At Ixomitl wedding celebrations, it is common for the couple's close friends and family to spend the previous day cooking enough Ixomitl rice pan to feed everyone up the celebration to come. You also have savoury pie. Let's have a look at the savoury pie. A delicious smelling pie with a golden crust and a meat filling guaranteed to leave one feeling battle ready. Oh, the food here, it sounds so tasty. So tasty. Pearlwood chicken. Pearlwood chicken is common among the settlers along the Pearl Coast and Defiance Bay, but its popularity has not spread far north or abroad. Locals claim that the dwarves of Talanir were responsible for inventing the dish. Given the old assembly of ingredients, often a notable feature of dwarven cuisine, many are inclined to accept the claim at face value. There are rumours that the Duke of Osier has become fond of Pearlwood chicken, supposedly using grey breast chickens imported, live, all the way from Old Valia to suit his particular tastes. As the dish is not popular in the Valian republics, the citizens of Osier are not sure if they should try to emulate the Duke's rumoured style or vigorously deny it to foreigners. Then there's sweet pie. Popular among all the coastal communities of Rotai, sweet pie is often considered too rich even by their standards. It is saved for special occasions. One of the most notable and worthy occasions is when a Rotai Omawa makes his or her first long journey across the ocean. Upon returning, his friends and family members often share a sweet pie with the returning youngster, enjoying the first piece. Ooh, that you have ale, beer, milk, cheese, grain, potions, and camping supplies. I am very tempted to pick up the cookies. I am picking up some cookies. How many would you like? I'll have one. One cookie. I could trade you some... Oh, you don't want my beer. I'm taking the cookie. I'm having that cookie. It is mine. And I will eat it. And it will be delicious. Also, we have leveled. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to save before I level up. So, I want to focus on stealth, for sure. And I also want to advance mechanics. And I want to save points to advance mechanics again later, because unspent points will carry over. Now, we have a ranger ability here that we can pick. There is swift aim. The ranger gets in a speedy and fluid offensive rhythm, reducing accuracy but increasing fire rate and reload time with ranged weapons and attack rate with melee weapons. Interesting. There's wounding shot. That was from the beginning choices. Predator's sense heightens the predatory instinct of the ranger's animal companion, giving them a damage bonus on any creature suffering a damage over time effect. Vicious aim. By lowering attack and reload rate, the ranger is able to take more careful aim, giving them increased accuracy and damage. I'm not sure. I'm thinking either swift aim or vicious aim. Both of them seem pretty good. You know, I'm going to pick vicious aim. Attack less often, but attack more with more accuracy and more damage. I'm going to pick vicious aim. Take fewer shots, make them count. And that's all we get. Vicious aim. Lowering attack and reload rate, you're able to make more careful aim, giving them increased accuracy and damage, sure. Is that a mistake with an arquebus? Perhaps. Maybe I won't attack very often, but those attacks will hurt.
I'm here.
It'll be fine, I'm sure. Also, a little bit more health because we leveled.
Well met, friend.
Hello again. Come to rest your feet a while? Yeah, I'd like that room, please. Certainly, you're always welcome. Okay, we have inns allow characters to rest without using camping supplies. Cheap rooms are usually available, but if you have copper to spend, you may consider the more expensive options. The bonuses they provide last for a long time and affect the entire party. 2 rests, perception, and... they're very expensive. We're going to pick the common room. The common room is free. Let's rest. That does look warm. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by kisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken, and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes getting louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from a tree is an old dwarf woman, whose face has shriveled inward like mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind, until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up, and her eyes open, and they are empty, and beneath them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of a dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. 464 experience. Well, we have a new quest, and you get to level up. So, you have a ton of lore. I mean, I can have you keep putting points in lore. I'm gonna save the rest of your points. I don't know what to put the rest of them in. I'll think about it. I don't know whether to put points in athletics or stealth. Stealth's not really something you're going to be doing. Mechanics I could have, maybe, but I'm doing mechanics, so I'm going to save those points. Oh my, you get spells. Oh, there's a lot of spells here. Right. Let's think, Kiko. What's good for a spellcaster? Well, is there a Scorching Ray equivalent? Yes, there is. Ray of Fire. Creates a scorching ray of flame between the caster and the target, inflicting continual burn damage to the target and anyone caught in the ray. Yeah, that seems good. What else do we have? Mirrored Image. That also might be pretty good. Creates duplicates of the caster to distract enemies, granting a high deflection bonus, which is reduced with each hit taken. Yep. Go with the staples. Go with Mirror Image. Go with Scorching Ray. Excellent. That suits me. Right, with that done, we're going to save. And we are going to go and check the tree. I'm going to regret checking the tree, aren't I? I'm going to regret checking that tree. It's dreary and dark and miserable. And the tree is even worse. The tree is over here. Is Edér still here? Yes, Edér is still here. Can I have a chat?
Yes.
Welcome to our lovely village. Okay, that wasn't there before. The swirliness was not there before.
I'm here.
So let's go over to the swirliness. And let's, chat? Oh, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good at all. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow you could reach out and touch it. Not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. Well, this is a terrible idea, but let's do it. Reach out for the woman. You take a deep breath clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expended enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman, and when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in the wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
We're talking to a corpse! What happened to us? Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy, even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I. Wherever here may be.
How are you able to speak to me? I don't understand.
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I have so many questions. I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there.
She nods.
You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
That title has no meaning to us. Yet. But it's very ominous. Let's try find some meaning in it. What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, no. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times.
She is very, very cheery for a corpse.
Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder!
Wait, what do you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprout from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
That's a lead. I'm happy to hear of a lead. I think I survived a bivouac. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing.
We've not been lucky, so... Well, actually we have, but I don't think we'd be that lucky.
Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
They are. You said souls break apart over time?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again. But less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
She clicks her tongue. I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
Who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
And unfortunately you could not help. Or you could help, and they didn't want that help. What happened to you? She laughs, a raspy, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
You found nothing, didn't you? Tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
I wonder if things would have been different if you'd have just said that she was fine and there was nothing you could do. Probably not. Probably not. What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
Interesting. I have other questions.
Of course, dear.
Actually, I'm just so confused. I need time. I need time.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose. Your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Lyrin was granted Crucible of the Soul. That's ominous. Aloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. Apparently I'm a watcher. His arched eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that is interesting. He gives you a sly grin, and I expect this has something to do with the hooded figures in the ruins, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're travelling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about Watchers? Only that they're rare, and they seem to have some unique insight into certain soul conditions. Just as you demonstrated. Let's continue on. Oh yeah, you were literally there as well.
I'm here.
17 and a half.
17 and a half what? The smell of pipe smoke, at once earthy and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with straw-coloured hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. No, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
I'm sorry?
The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
What are you talking about?
The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Aloth frowns. Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Edér. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
What makes you think I was interested in the dwarf woman? He looks at you a moment, his brow arched, his smirk broadens.
Well, I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
Do you know what a watcher is, Edér?
Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be.
Well, you don't think I'm who I claim to be either.
Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
Yay! You think you're going to be hanged?
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
The war? Saints' War. Only one in my lifetime. Fellow decides he's the living incarnation of Eothas, overthrows Red Ceres, marches on Deerwood, so we gave him a Deerwood and hello. What's a Deerwood and hello?
We blew him up.
He smiles at this, but it is a smile of one recounting a joke for effect rather than enjoyment. Okay, I wasn't expecting that one. Who is Eothas? God of rebirth and redemption. Formerly, anyhow. Maybe they call him something different where you're from. I have other questions. I've got time. Why was your headman hanged? Got involved. Redrick sent men down here the other day. Said they had it on good authority someone in town was working with Kulsk, plotting Redrick's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right there and then, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward. So Swithin, that's my headman, he steps up and says it's him. They took him at his word. He sighs and shakes his head, his eyes fixed on my tree. Bound to happen sooner or later. If not for plotting against Redrick, then for protecting me. What does your town have against you?
Pick the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea.
Aethys rather than Eothas. Got it.
Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me.
And now they've hung him.
Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedrick's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
Aloth glances at you and lowers his voice. You can see why I was so eager to leave. Who's Kolsk? Someone who got tired of all the hangings. He's on the run now. Probably will be till they catch him. If you're next to be hanged, why are you still here? He gives a half smile. Drinking mostly. Point of fact, I'm on my way out. I just haven't figured out where I'm going next. Not a whole lot of places out there that don't think Waidwin's legacy started with Waidwin. We could travel together. Where are you headed? Someplace called Caed Nua? There's an old watcher there who might be able to help me.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before.
Well, you have now.
Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger. And a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
Agreed. You seem like a nice person. There's a fine reason if I ever heard one.
All right, then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
He glances briefly at the tree. Afterwards, his head tilts forward and gives you a pointed look. Agreed. Let's get going. And with that, we have another party member. This man is a fighter. We could do with a fighter. He has 5 athletics, 2 survival, and 1 lore. And quite a few abilities as well. Fantastic. As for equipment, he has a saber, a medium shield, a war bow, and Saint's War armor. Edér wore this armor during his time in the Saints' War. Its dark color is unusual, as is its power. Though he admits that the armor has pulled him from the brink of death on several occasions, he claims that no one else has ever handled the armor. How it became enchanted is a mystery even to him. We can enchant it further, but that might be something for another time.
Yes?
For when we come back, folks, oh my, have we figured out a lot of things. Okay, we want to switch this round so that you
I'm here.
are at the front. I can't put you there, but that's probably as good as things are going to get. And when we come back, folks, we have a quest. But first I want to go sell some things at the smithy, which I believe is over here. And then we might have enough people that we can go take care of that bear. I think we should try that. We should absolutely try that. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? Probably death. Let's try and avoid that. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not. And if you are subscribed, press that bell for those notifications. And I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later. I don't know about you folks, but I'm being pulled into this game already. Many questions and no answers. But hopefully we can find some soon. Hopefully. Later.